111 years ago to this day marks one of the worst days in East Texas history. The black community in Slocum was gunned down and murdered. Many who survived fled to nearby towns, leaving behind their homes and their livelihoods. CBS 19's JJ Maldonado spoke with a descendant of one of the survivors and an author who's written extensively about the history in tonight's special report, The Slocum Massacre.
July 29th, 1910 was a day of bloodshed in Slocum, Texas.
In mobs ranging from dozens to hundreds went around killing African Americans on sight.
Newspapers from around the state and country documenting one of the worst days in East Texas history.
Starting on the 29th and going into the 30th and then residually into the 31st, mobs of white folks who cut the phone lines in the area. There were phones. They cut the phone lines so that the blacks that lived there couldn't call out for help.
E.R. Bills is the author of the book, The 1910 Slocum Massacre, Enacted Genocide in East Texas. He's researched several countries as a journalist.
It was sort of shocking. I didn't know anything like that had ever happened in Texas. And just the fact also that it apparently had been covered up was sort of a shock to me.
The Slocum Massacre is believed to have been the result of hatred against the black citizens who were doing well in the community at the time. Bill says also an awful rumor had been circulating that the black community was going to rise and kill their white neighbors.
But it scared the white people enough that they took their kids and their wives and put them in churches and left white men outside to defend, reportedly. And then they went on a killing spree.
The official death count is listed as 8, although it's believed 200 to 300 black East Texans were killed in those 3 days. One of the victims was Alex Hawley. Constance Hawley Joaid is a descendant of the Hawley family. Her great-great-great-grandfather was Jack Hawley, a survivor of the massacre.
Jack Hawley, who was the primary landowner and the owner of the only general store and many other businesses in Slocum at that time, and who was the primary target during the massacre. I am his great-great-great-granddaughter.
In the early 1900s, Jack Hawley was a successful businessman, which is not easy for someone enslaved until they were 19.
He started using his skills and his talents to make money for himself instead of the European, structure of chattel slavery. And so he did that just a bit too well. He owned a general store, a granary, a dairy.
Hawley survived the genocide, but was forced to flee his Slocum home and move to Palestine. He lost a son in the massacre and many, many relatives.
Having to lose a child and having a child shot and wounded like that, I can't imagine what that feels like. I have 2 children, and I don't want to think about that. But it is something that many African parents, African American parents, black parents are dealing with today, with their children being killed when they're not even armed, shot in the back, or shot with not even being aggressive. Innocently shot. So 1910 to 2021, 111 years later, the same things are happening.
Shalom. Giving all praises to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, by Yeshem, Yahweh Shah, by Yeshem, Wakaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders that were well. Peace and many salutations to Yakim Torah in this truth. Now this happened in East Texas, down here in Texas, and that sentiment of blatant racism is still seen down here in Texas. I can remember being a child and going to places like Fort Hood and having Edomites throw rocks at me, call me a nigga, tell me to get out of there. They prey on the weak, they prey on the innocent. That's what Esau Edom does. And he tries to, cover his racism with the whole upholding law and order and things of that nature. That sentiment is really down here in Texas. And he to pay for what you done to our people. See, Esau Edom, man, he tells us, you know, hey, you need to get over slavery, man. It was a long time ago. But as our people were trying to get over slavery and trying to establish themselves, they sabotaged us. Not only in, you had it going on in on Black Wall Street, but you had it in scenarios here in Texas, you know. And with them destroying businesses, destroying legacies, not only did they, you know, destroy the black economy, but they broke up the, you know, the so-called black household by killing the man's son, you know, and this happened numerous times. Okay, so don't tell us to get over something when you're not going to get over racism or slavery. And secondly, you're not built to. You're set up to be the son of perdition, and you're said to be taken out of the way. See, we're standing on our feet, as it says in Revelations, the 11th chapter. You know, and now Esau Edom is in great fear, and he should be, because with us standing on our feet and us understanding who we are, and understanding why the Most High allowing certain things, there's nothing that this man could do. Okay. So Esau Edom, you have put us into severe captivity. You put sore strokes on us, and guess what? You're going to be paid back double. All right? Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh power, Behold, I am, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. That's right, you have eternal hatred towards us, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans. You have disdain towards us. We've shown that in numerous ways, blatantly, and you know what I'm saying, after the Civil War, during the Reconstruction era, which the Civil War, and this is only one aspect I'm speaking about. After the Civil War, which ended in what, in the 1860s, 1864 roughly. You know, that's when lynching became, you know, common. And then the NAACP was established to combat, you know, the lynching of the so-called Negro and Latino, I might add. You know, destroying our businesses, you know, raiding the cities, you know, to stop the economic growth. Okay? And then, fast forward, you know, after desegregation, which didn't happen here in the Texas until well into the 70s. You tell us to get over it, but yet you pass certain legislation to keep us in a second-class citizen state. Things like gerrymandering, where you know, weaken the so-called black vote, you know, based on your charting of the city. Okay, so your vote is more heard. Various schools, you know, have poor funding, which means poor education. Okay, not to mention blatant racism, man. Blatant racism that still goes on down here in Texas. See, I'm glad that I was raised down here because I see it. I see it. It's blatant. It's in your face. You know what I'm saying? And numerous accounts. You know, growing up in the country. And they always let you know, hey, you don't belong here. If you don't like it, go back to Africa. You know. I've always known that this place was not our rest. I've always was looking for you know, a way to get out or overcome. And through the spirit of Yahweh by Shemashai, it allowed me to get into this truth and understand that this man has a perpetual hatred for us, and it's spiritual. See, it's spiritual, you know, the hatred that Esau Edom has for us. He was set up to be that son of perdition, okay? And he done his job to the T. And now his job is almost done, you know? He fulfilled his role by putting hell on us for us being disobedient. And now he's going to be taken out of the way, okay? So Esau Edom, your time is up, man. Your time is up. All right? Vocab Malone, you can come around here and you can try to dismiss and try to, you know, make it seem like we're just crazy and disgruntled Negroes. All you want to. But it's not going to work. It's not going to work. You know? And you're adamant, and you being adamant against us shows what spirit that you're in. You're in the spirit of Esau Edom, because you are Edomite. And you're going to be taken out of the way too. There's nothing you can do to stop this train, like the apostle so hard said. Okay? So Esau Edom, man, you're going down, man. There's nothing you can do about it. It's all through the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Back to it. Ezekiel 35:5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate. Excuse me. And cut off from it him that passes out, and him that returneth. So Esau Edom, you know, is going to be utterly destroyed. You're not going to be able to go from city to city anymore, or country to country anymore, spreading your BS, your madness. The Most High is going to cut you off. Your cultural hegemony is going to be brought to nothing. See, back in the day, Esau Edom, man, you know, you had to consider, well, at least in the world, you would have to consider, you know, what he was saying. You're like, damn, this is the white man. You know, he has a point. You know, he is in rulership. Maybe we need to get our stuff together, which we do. We do. You know what I'm saying? 2/3 of our people got to be destroyed. But doesn't negate the hatred, perpetual hatred that you have had, Esau Edom, that you have had for the Lord's chosen people. And you're going to be taken out of the way. Okay? The Most High is going to destroy you with a sword of destruction. And to pay you back, he's going to totally annihilate your lineage, like you were trying to do to us, the true Israelites, the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. Okay? So I just want to give this brief example of the wickedness of Esau Edom. Esau Edom likes to tell you, hey man, you know, slavery happened, and then, you know, Martin Luther King, and that's it. You know, get over it. Oh man, there's a lot of dark history that has been covered up. See, we're living in the last time, the last days. So a lot of wickedness is being uncovered. The wickedness of Esau Edom. Okay, the Most High is making him bare, meaning he's being exposed. The witchcraft and the lies of Esau Edom, that power that it once had is waning. Okay? So, like I said, I want to make this brief. Giving our praise to my Heavenly Father. Your name is Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Yahweh. Double honor to the apostles and others that were well. Peace, many salutations, Shalom.